dreads, man. And that was Eric Owusu, everybody. Owusu. I got it. I'm here with another bright, funny comedian, Ralph Cooper. Now, I don't know what Ralph personally, but for some reason his wife is on my Facebook page. No, man, ain't nothing wrong with you and your wife. I'm just saying. She told me about you, and I just had to have you on the show. Ralph is the host of Awesome Thursdays in Washington, D.C. He claims Springfield, Virginia as his hometown. He started doing comedy back in 2005 because his mother told him he was funny. But he got serious about it when his wife told him he needed the rent. Welcome to the stage, Ralph Cooper. Now, your wife hooked me up with you because she obviously thinks that you're going to be like the next big thing in comedy. Tell me, like, how did you get started in comedy? I mean, besides your mom telling you need to get out and do some comedy.
That was kind of really how I got started. We were eating breakfast at Bob Edwards. I had just left another job, which was more like a long career. I guess it sounds kind of serious. And I was making my mom and dad laugh at the table. She was like, you need to go ahead and do something with that. I was like, well, it's funny you mention that. I was thinking about trying comedy.
You're the first comic that I've ever heard that said that the parents told me to get into comedy. You're just like, okay, how am I tell my parents I'm doing comedy?
Well, the way I look at it is like everything else I did, they told me not to do it. And I did it anyway. And
so they were just like, screw it, man.
You know what, finally, you ought to do that one. Screw it. That's way better than the other crap you've been doing. So go ahead and do that. That'll work for you.
So your wife is promoting you, because what happened was, if I could talk to the audience candidly, I had a comic cancel on me, and I was scrambling. I was crazy because this morning I was like, everything was going smooth. And then like one comic canceled on me before. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then this morning one comic called in sick, so I put out a thing, and his wife hooked me up, sent me an email. I thought she was a comic because she's always been on my Facebook, Then she sends me your YouTube clip, and it was very funny. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That was the 5 Minutes of Funny class, right?
Yeah. Basically, right the week before I got married, I was teaching in D.C. and I got laid off. I was one of the Missouri teachers. Right. The thing was, when they laid me off, it was the Friday before I got married. Period. So when I called my wife, I was like, "Babe, shock, I got laid off. Wasn't expecting this." Sat there for a second. She's like, "I didn't like you teaching anyway. Screw that." I was like, "Oh, all right. You still want to marry me?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, all right, I'm cool. This will work. We went through, and she kept prodding me and pushing me, trying to get me to go back out, and I didn't really want to go. And she brought me to 5 Minutes to Funny class at the Improv. I cried a little bit because that was the nicest thing anybody ever done for me. And next thing you know, I went and I had a really good show. And I remember saying to myself, damn, I could quit my job tomorrow and do this comedy stuff full time. And then I got laid off, and here we are.
So when you were teaching, did you use your comedy as, to deal and relate to the kids, or was it just like?
I really didn't have a choice. I'm not, I worked in the media. I worked in radio for almost 10 years, off and on. And when I got the opportunity to teach, to be honest, I was broke, need a job. So it was, all right, I'll go teach. And I just happened to teach at Ballou Senior High School in Southeast Washington, D.C. Don't know if anybody in the crowd really knows about Southeast D.C. and Ballou Senior High School, but I don't know. It's like Newport's standard as freshmen. It's just what they do. It's tough, is what I'm trying to say. And I was really concerned because the atmosphere I came from was one where, everybody's cussing. It's media. They're high, intense, da-da-da-da. And here I am teaching kids. And
it's the same thing.
Yeah,
high intensity cussing.
Yeah. So my bigger deal was to make sure one of the things I try to make sure I wanted the kids to cuss correctly. That was big to me. Like
you want to be able to spell the F word.
Spell the cuss words. Like I had simple rules in my class, like no speaking in text message, because you have to do that. Like you'll tell a kid a joke and they'll look at you like, "LOL, Mr. Cooper." Did you really just say LOL to me? Why didn't you just laugh? Oh, come on, Mr. Cooper. Nobody does that anymore. Okay, sure, whatever. But a lot of the humor I used, it was almost like defense, because I'm a big guy. A lot of times the kids would try and step up to me and talk crazy to me, and I normally had to joan them back into their seats. Like I had to crack on them until they sat down. It was like a war of attrition, pretty much. And the fact that I used really big words really annoyed the kids most of the times. Like sometimes You have people who, you know, read a dictionary and find a word and they're just going to use it repeatedly. My major was speech. So I got big words galore. Like, I'm not the kind of dude you want to play Scrabble against. That's what I tell people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not a fair Scrabble player. I got big lexicon in there.
So I was looking at your video. I noticed that we do have a lot of things in common. You say you grew up like in the suburbs in a way, right?
Definitely.
Well, I did. Well, not like a lot of things, but it's like, you know, your mom told you were funny. My mom told you I was funny. You know, somebody bought me a comedy class, and you know, I got into comedy. You know, that way. You grew up in a comedy. What is it like growing up in the suburbs as a comedian and a large African American? What was that kind of like? What was that, and how did that influence your comedy?
Well, the thing was, growing up, I wasn't a comedian. You know, growing up, I was
yeah,
really,
but you were funny, right?
Well, no. I don't know. It depends on you ask. Like I growing up, I was big into like leadership stuff. I mean, you know, back then I was a real serious kind of dude. In fact, they used to say at my former job that if you were to look on Wikipedia for an angry black man, it was probably my picture right there because I was just that damn angry. And to be real, what really did it was growing up, I did forensics because I'm a nerd like that. I was really good at forensics, but that doesn't really go over too well with black folks. You know what I mean? Like, I went to Morehouse and it was like, oh, I played football and I was a quarterback. Oh, that's peace. Okay. Yo, I played basketball. I was the point guard. Oh, okay, that's cool. What you do? I was the captain of the forensics team for 3 years. Oh, okay, all right. So what you do? Like, you know, it was every time, you know, it was, oh, okay.
They kind of skipped over.
Yeah, like,
okay.
what the hell's forensics? Don't. It's dead bodies. Keep it there. That's cool. But I mean, that was more of what it was, and I think, to be real, I really got into comedy because I felt like I had a serious rep as being a very angry guy, and I didn't feel like I was an angry guy. I smoked way too expensively to be angry. And yeah, I said that.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, there were a lot of times that people would think I was angry, and I wasn't really angry. I was pretty fucked up. I was just, you know, I'm from here, and I'm walking around. And if you're from here, you walk around, you look a little angry sometimes, and you're not really angry. Normally, you're thinking about other things, but you know, that's the way it worked. And so, being able to get up on stage and do comedy, I tell most people it's more addicting than anything I've ever done in my life. It's a lot of fun.
So who influenced you as far as a comedian is concerned? 'Cause I know, you know. Yeah.
My influence is kind of weird. I go from Monty Python because I grew up watching The Quest for the Holy Grail is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have little bunny rabbit slippers at the crib.
Vicious bunny rabbit
all
slippers
day,
with blood coming.
all day.
Okay,
It's real. Bunny rabbits are real in my hood. I liked a lot of Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddles, all that kind of stuff.
It's a knit bing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I get no kick from cocaine. Like I sing on demand for people. Is what I do. Richard Pryor, Robin Harris, Mons Mabley, Red Fox. I kind of like the bluer comics, but I also like Bill Cosby, for example, because, you know, he can sit there and not cuss and tell you stuff that's really funny, but not necessarily get on your nerves unless he's talking about politics, which is a whole nother thing.
I've heard Bill Cosby cuss now.
No, I mean, he had to cuss.
He's getting old now, so he's cussing a little bit more.
Did you know that Bill Cosby spent more time at the Playboy Mansion than anybody else in his day?
Oh, really?
So that means that one way or another, regardless of what he had on the sweater, he did coke and he messed with whores. And that's fine. That's fine. I can accept that from Bill Cosby. It gives me something to look forward to in a weird kind of a way. Just putting that there, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So before we get too far, where do you want to take this comedy thing? I know, suppose I know that, like, once you've done it, you seem like, you know, you did it and now you fall in love with it. Where do you want to take it? Where do you want this romance with comedy to go?
I'd like it to go to a point where I can pay for my newborn child. That would be great.
Oh, really? Congratulations. Newborn child, really?
Well, it's coming in March. It might as well be
Well,
here.
congratulations.
Okay.
Let's hope you can pay for that.
Well, yeah, that would be great. If Lab Horse pays for it, I'll come back.
Live on paper.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, no doubt. Nah, y'all benefits.
I've been doing this every week.
Benefits are awesome. But I really, when I started, people were like, "Where do you want to go?" And I'd love to have, like, you know, Comedy Central, HBO type stuff. I like, you know, like Eric kind of said earlier. He's right. There are a lot of comics out there, especially sadly black comics, who will get on stage and dick joke you to death. And you know, I don't want to be that dude. You know,
who was it? I think there was a young comic that said that who was it? Gosh, I was just watching this the other day that said that, like, when he did his first stand-up set, that somebody said he wasn't ready, so he said, just go out and do some dick jokes. Just go out and do some dick jokes. And then Chris Rock said, what the hell? You just did out there and did 30 minutes worth of dick jokes? Is there something wrong with you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that something that is, like, discouraging for you as an African-American comic, that you feel like, okay, am I trying to push a square peg into a round hole as far as getting to the niche of African American comics or comics as black comics?
Yes and no. I look at it like most of my life I've been told that I act white, so I'm cool with the whole.
Now you scared me when you came in. I was like, damn. No, but go ahead.
Yeah, I tend to do that. It's the deep voice in the hair. But if you'd have swung at me, I'd have felt like a piece of paper. I ain't yeah, I don't do that. I again smoke way too expensively to fight. I just don't. You get upset. You know what? Fuck it, take it. For sure. So I can't do that. But it's a very weird position. It's crazy you even asked me. I was at Riot Act earlier this week. And ended up getting into a very deep conversation with someone because I was explaining how, even though I know urban clubs are very, very close to where I live, I go all the way downtown, and I go all the way out to Baltimore, and I go all the way over the places because I feel as though there's a different stigma attached to different places. And I'm nowhere near a comic at a level where I can talk noise about what other people do, but it's very real. It's what's going on.
And you make your own choices, and you have to figure what is right for you as a person as well as a comic.
To cut it short and just put it in layman's terms, I like white people, and they're pretty cool. They smoke better cigarettes. They normally have tons of beer.
They got much better weed.
Oh man, yeah, okay, yeah. For purposes of television, white people have great weed all the time. I get all of my weed from nothing but white people. White people give me so much drugs all the time, because black people just go to church. We don't do anything wrong. That movie Friday was a myth.
I hear about all that. All I know
I'm just
is
putting that up there. I'm
I
just
know
saying.
there's a lot less oregano in their weed.
Well, possibly. But, like I said, I get all my weed from white people.
All right, Eric, you're gonna take the stage, right? You're gonna show what I saw, right? Right?
What you call me?
What I call you? I'm sorry. I did call you. I'm sorry about that. You black folks all look alike to me. Ralph.
Yes, that would be me. There you go.
Ralph. Sorry about that. Ralph is gonna take the stage, everybody, and he's gonna show you exactly how funny he is. You're gonna make your wife proud, right?
I try to, yes. Sir.
I hope so, man. For real.
She won't let me in.
She won't let you in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call her and say you did a good job. Anyway,
I
when we
appreciate
come back,
that. That's good.
Ralph is gonna show us exactly how funny he is.